Thank you for coming today. I teach Buddhism and I learn in purelandschool.com. My last video, I was talking about the Four Noble Truths. This is something that you may have some understanding of it, or you may not. So I'm going to talk about this today. I'm going to explain in detail what is this Four Noble Truths. So you may have to check that video if you haven't. It would be a good idea for you to watch the video before understanding this. So the Four Noble Truths is basically life is suffering, the cause of suffering, true happiness, and the way to cessation of suffering. So basically we are suffering. How can we do so we stop suffering? That's it. So depending what you read or who you learn from, you may find different answers. So in Buddhism you can find, in general, there are two kinds of Buddhism. One would be Buddhism of sages and the other one would be Pure Land Buddhism. As you can see, I learn in purelandschool.com. So of course what I learn and what I teach is only Pure Land Buddhism, okay, Pure Land Buddhism. But I still have to explain a little bit of Buddhism of sages, especially if you have read something here or there, you know. So we can agree that life is suffering from common sense and because of the eight sufferings. This is something taught in Buddhism. Buddhism teaches that everyone at all in this world is suffering, at least from the, you can say, you could call this the 8 universal sufferings. Okay, so it's called 4 suffering and 8 sufferings. I have explained this in previous videos, but it's basically the 4 major sufferings or the basic sufferings, like aging, you know, we don't want to get older, but we do, or sickness, you know, and to die. Things like that, like very basic, but everyone is living through this in every life, in every lifetime. And the 8 sufferings, I mean, the other 8 are like secondary, but also important sufferings, like when you lost someone you love, or because of death, for example, or any other thing. There is more, but we can agree on the point that life is suffering. Then, what is the cause? Because based on the law of cause and effect, things that happen are only effects from previous causes. So if you're happy, there is a reason for that. If you're unhappy, there is a reason for that. So what is the cause? What's previous to this suffering? What is the cause of our suffering? So if you learn in the other Buddhism, in Buddhism of sages, you will find that they teach that the cause of our sufferings is blind passions, and that means we suffer because we desire things that we don't have, and maybe if we do have them, we want more of that, and so we are constantly suffering from things we don't have. That's only one blind passion called desire, but there is more, like anger. And we are always getting angry towards other people because they don't understand us or because they hinder us or whatever. So that we suffer not because of other people that make us angry, because we get angry. You get it? Stuff like that. So these are blind passions. This is Pure Land, and this is Buddhism of sages. But in Pure Land Buddhism, because of course we do suffer of blind passions, but we are made entirely of blind passions, and we cannot eliminate them. What the real cause of our suffering in Pure Land Buddhism is the dark mind. This means to have a mind that is not bright, that is not illuminated. And we can achieve this in this lifetime in Pure Land Buddhism. Okay? So the third is the truth, because we are talking about here of the 4 noble truths. So the third is the truth of true happiness. There is something called true happiness. So what is this? In Buddhism of sages, this is Buddha's enlightenment. Okay? In Pure Land is Amida Buddha's vow. So Amida Buddha's vow, so what's the difference here? They practice, such a very hard way in order to attain Buddha's enlightenment. So they stop suffering and they illuminate blind passions. So they don't suffer because of desire and things like that. You get it? That's the ascetic practice way, or the Buddhism of sages. Very, very hard. In Pure Land Buddhism, it's different. We focus on Amida Buddha's vow. So that is basically to be saved by the vow, or the primal vow, or to be saved by Amida Buddha's vow. What is this? You could say that this is like a great ship that takes us aboard from the sea of suffering. We are suffering in the sea, and we are taken aboard the great ship, and we are saved in this lifetime. I know you may want to understand this better, deeper, but I'm just talking about the Four Noble Truths and how different it is depending on who you are asking, basically. So the fourth truth is the truth of the way to cessation of suffering, how to stop suffering, how to attain a solution, So in Buddhism of sages, this is the way they do, or they think the way is the Eightfold Path, or basically ascetic practices. This means meditation, isolation in a way, even though they may be together on top of a mountain, for example, or in a temple, isolated from the rest of society or from the world, trying to control blind passion, trying not to have desire, trying not to get angry, things like that. Super hard, almost impossible. This is the ascetic practice. This is the way, basically, to attain what they want to attain, which is Buddha's enlightenment. The sad thing is that, and I'm talking not right now from Pure Land Buddhism, this is not possible. It is we usually say it's super hard to do, but technically speaking, it is not possible. It is not possible to attain Buddha's enlightenment this way. I can talk about that more, but if you know someone who has already done that, then you may think, okay, maybe I can do it too. But everyone who is trying, not really much people in this world, but whoever is still trying to do this it's not there yet, because it's not something you can actually achieve. That's very sad, actually, because this is a misinterpretation or misunderstanding of the teachings. The hard way was only taught in order to teach the easy way, the easy practice, to be taken aboard the great ship, not to build it yourself. Just take the ship. Whatever. It's hard to explain things not knowing how much you already understand this. But basically, in Buddhism of sages, they try to achieve Buddha's enlightenment by themselves with self-power. It means very hard practice, ascetic practices, and it is not possible. It's basically that. In Pure Land Buddhism, the practice to be taken aboard the great ship, or to be saved, to attain enlightenment, is through three practices, basically, which is Chomon. I'm going to explain. Chomon, chanting, and 6 paramitas. So the first, Chomon, means to listen to Buddhism earnestly, seriously, to find a true teacher, someone who can teach you true Buddhism, real Buddhism, right understanding of the teachings and practice. Basically, to listen, to have the basic understandings of Buddhism, and then to understand or to listen deeply to Amida Buddha's vow, to understand this very, very well, until the point you attain, and this is called Ichenen moment, until the point you are enlightened. You attain enlightenment. This is also called listen until you hear. So listen means listen to Buddhism. And when you until you hear, until you that point where you reach the vertical line or where you hear that name. That name. I can explain this in future videos, but when your dark mind is dispelled and you have a bright mind and now you have attained enlightenment. What is that? I have explained that before and I will explain that continuously. But this is Chomo. This is to practice. This is the first great practice, or the main one, which is to listen to Buddhism. The second one is doing chanting and Nembutsu, which is, Nembutsu is Namu Amida Butsu. Basically that, to recite the name, Namu Amida Butsu. It's the 6-character name, Namu Amida Butsu. And chanting is to sing a song, morning time and evening time, which contains this Namu Amida Butsu within this chanting, and the teachings are there too. That's the second one. And the third one is doing the six paramitas, and this means the 6 ways to practice good deeds, to do good, to be a good person, let's say, very basically. Trying to do as many good things as you can. So through this, you get closer to true happiness or enlightenment. And when you achieve that, it will happen in this lifetime. If you practice and you do this, you will achieve that moment for sure. The more you listen to Buddhism, the more you practice Chomon, chanting, and 6 paramitas, the faster you get to that point. So that's Pure Land Buddhism. Yeah, that's all for today. Thank you so much. So if you found me for the first time, I would recommend you to click on the link so you can check the playlist with the other videos, and you can also subscribe if you want to check new videos. And you can ask me anything at all. I will answer you. Thank you. Bye bye.